What is good, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video. We're here for our first Shooting the Breeze of 2025, and it is the biggest edition thus far this year. As not only do we have some wrestling to talk about, we have our last week NFL Week 18 predictions. I believe they call this the season finale. Last year, they called this the season finale. I don't know if they're doing that whole thing again this year, but we got 16 more games to close out the 2024 season. I also still think that they refer to this as the 2024 season, even though we're in 2025, but I will know that by the time I upload the video. But like I said, we'll also be discussing some NJPW / other companies Wrestle Dynasty that is also taking place this weekend. We'll briefly talk about Wrestle Kingdom because I'm fairly certain by the time this is uploaded, Wrestle Kingdom will already taken place, but we'll get to that when we get to that. We need to get through these Week 18 NFL predictions first. So, I believe, I've not fully added up, but the last time that I checked up, I had about 67% right on predictions, which what sucks about that is like last year I believe we had 62%. I'd have to double check, but we're in the 60 percentile last year. I won it up in the 70 percentile, so I'll have the final calculation of that next week. Let's get through these predictions, shall we? It's a sad day. It's going to be a sad day because a lot of these teams we won't have to worry about until September again, so we'll get to that when we get to that. As our Saturday games, conference match. I believe every game this weekend is divisional rival related. I think I've caught on to that. But the first one, Browns and Ravens. I've picked the Ravens all season. I have no real reason to change now. I'm going with the Ravens to win. Another matchup, a very important matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Will be interesting to see if the Bengals are able to make their way into playoffs. You just don't really know at this point. But for them to do that, they will need to win. And I'm going to predict them to win this matchup. Panthers at Falcons. I'll go with the Falcons to win. Commanders at Cowboys. Now, and followed up by Bears at Packers. As a Packers fan, to get a higher seeding, we need the Commanders to lose. So with that being said, I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win. Now, we got Bears at Packers. Like I just said, Packers fan, I'm going with us to win. I ain't trash talking. I ain't shit talking. Because I don't like talking about this stuff. Because anytime I say something, it comes back to bite me in the ass. So that's why I'm not, talking about several situations. Because Packer fans are very emotional. They were very emotional about last weekend and going into this weekend. I'm not going in with that mindset, and I'm not going to comment too much on it because, like I said, a lot of times the shit comes back to bite me in the ass. But going with the Packers to win, as always. Now, Jaguars at Colts. I will go with the Colts winning. Bills at Patriots. I'll go with the Bills winning. Giants at Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles to win, even though it would be a little bit funny if the Giants won after winning last week. Saints at Buccaneers. I'll go with the Buccaneers winning. I also don't know. I don't think the Falcons are fully eliminated from the playoffs yet, because I know that's a very important matchup. Let me check that completely. NFL playoff picture. Texans at Titans. I'll go with the Texans to win. They need to get this win. They need some momentum rolling because they have been very down in the dumps over the past couple of weeks. I know they're a very banged up team. Almost every team is, though. But they need this win. 49ers at Cardinals. I'll go with the Cardinals winning. Chiefs at Broncos. This is the interesting game because a lot of people want the Broncos to lose. That way the Bengals can get into the playoffs. But the Chiefs have no real interest in this whatsoever. It makes it difficult because the Broncos. I'm going to go with the Broncos to win, but I would be interested to see the Bengals get in. Now, I clicked the NFL playoff picture and it only took me to the AFC team. So now I got to go click the NFC team side. So the Falcons are not eliminated, but I do believe they have to win and the Buccaneers need to win. I believe that is the case there. So, it is what it is. Seahawks at Rams. It'd be interesting to see the Seahawks get, I would imagine, a little bit of revenge after getting eliminated from the playoffs last week due to the Rams winning and a whole bunch of other things happening. So I'm going to go with them to win this matchup, even though I've picked the Rams a lot this season. Chargers at Raiders. I'll go with the Chargers winning. Dolphins at Jets. Again, the Bengals need the Dolphins to lose. The Jets got humiliated last week. They had a hell of a season, and not like a good complimented way. A hell season. Let's put it that way. It's been that way for years, and they will more likely have a hell off season coming up. But I think they're going to make it a lot more interesting. They're going to win this game. I'm going with the Jets to win. Leading us to a massive grand finale game where the winner gets the number 1 seed in the NFC. Vikings at Lions. I don't care. I was going to say who cares. Everybody does because they'll be watching this game. I personally don't care. Let me put it that way. I'll go with the Lions winning for the sake of it. Giving a prediction off. And we will see what our percentage is once we get to that next week. Now, Wrestle Kingdom / Wrestle Dynasty. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent talking about New Japan and wrestling in general. So, thing one. I'm probably skipping out on my 2024 in-year review / awards that I did last year. Because I felt that I kind of should have did that already, and I haven't. Granted, I've just been in vacation mode, and I've only done ROH review and Shooting the Breeze, the consistent videos, where I slacked in that department, should have done it. Now, in that video, I said, I'm going to try to watch more New Japan and TNA. Now, I know what's happening in TNA. I'm not locked in, but what screwed TNA over for my personal enjoyment is once the Motor City Machine Guns left, they were the main thing I was interested in, and once they left and Scott D'Amore left, I slowly dwindled away. Now, there are people in TNA that I enjoy watching, and I do appreciate that they upload a lot of their matches onto YouTube, so for me to say I fully watch Impact episodes, I don't do that. So, I slacked in the TNA department. Now, getting on to the New Japan side of things, which is what matters here, they had almost the same thing happen to them. Where the good thing for them is they have a great jumping on point at the very beginning of the year, because this is when Wrestle Kingdom takes place. And this year, things are a bit more spicy because they have this Wrestle Dynasty event taking place as well. And I said, I'm going to try to watch a lot more New Japan. And what screwed them over is Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada both left around the same time. And every year with New Japan, I watch Wrestle Kingdom. It's a great tradition that I have, and I feel a lot of wrestling fans are in that same boat. I watched the New Beginning events, which this year's were more interesting because they had Ospreay and Okada's departure matches and whatnot. And then I just coast and casually check in from that standpoint. And again, we're kind of in the same situation now to where I'm going to be watching Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Dynasty is the event that has more interest. I think the good way to compare this, and it's kind of like a role reversal, is like Wrestle Kingdom is the WrestleMania. It is the big event. But those couple years, periods where WrestleMania was questionable and you had TakeOver taking place the same weekend, Wrestle Dynasty is very TakeOver-esque, and what makes it more interesting is it's the bigger event that has more to be desired from, and you got a lot more companies involved in that. So, like I said, I don't know fully when this video will be uploaded yet, so I'm not going to talk completely about Wrestle Kingdom. The matches that I do have my interest on, a little special note, the Rambo this year, the winner is the number 1 contender for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which normally the world title is not that title, so it will be interesting to see who wins that matchup. Tetsuya Naito versus Hiromu Takahashi, LIJ members going against one another. Should be a good matchup. probably my match of the weekend, the one I'm looking forward to the most. Winner takes all, never openweight title match / AEW International title match, Shingo Takagi versus Konosuke Takeshita. I think Takeshita's going to win this. This is going to be a massive matchup. Like I said, probably the one I'm looking forward to the most all weekend. IWGP World Heavyweight title match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shota Umino. I don't know. I would imagine that Zack Sabre wins this. But Wrestle Kingdom is the big show of the year. This is when the big thing normally happens for them. It would be massive if Shota... It would be pretty big. Massive, might be questionable if Shota Umino wins this, but I want to imagine Zack Sabre wins. Now, at Wrestle Dynasty, Zack Sabre has another massive matchup against Ricochet. Now, on Wikipedia and the match graphics, because I looked into it, this is only labeled as a special challenge match. Special challenge match, as I jokingly say sometimes. Now, what I'm trying to get at is I don't think that the IWGP title is involved in this match because of that, and because the title's on the line the previous night, and it's that whole, like, oh, what if Shota Umino wins? It kind of screws it over type of situation. I'm going to hope that Ricochet does not leave this show as IWGP World Champion, but he could. I'm just going to pick Zack Sabre to win on both nights. That way I don't have to worry about that. Now, we have another winner-takes-all match taking place at Wrestle Dynasty this time around. That being an NJPW Strong Women's title and Rev Pro British Women's title. Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shirakawa. Very rarely does Mercedes Moné lose, and I don't expect her to lose in this situation. Shota Umino versus Claudio Castagnoli. Brody King versus David Finlay. Now, I can perfectly describe this King and Finlay match as Brody King should win. I love Brody King, but David Finlay always seems to play the spoiler, and this is a situation where he shouldn't win, but probably will. Another match I'm really looking forward to because it involves people that in the matchups I was talking about earlier. Konosuke Takeshita / Shingo Takagi. The winner of that match will face Tomohiro Ishii the next night. And I think this is what, the winner of that Takeshita and Shingo match is going to be the MVP of the weekend because they got to go back and more than likely duplicate their performance that they did the previous night. I imagine that it will be Takeshita, and I imagine that he will win over Ishii. IWGP Tag Team Title match, Great Khan and a question mark versus the Young Bucks. Now, the only reason I imagine the Young Bucks winning this is because I don't really know what the hell is going on with the Young Bucks, and I don't really want to see them involved in the AEW Tag Team Title scene. And maybe this gets them involved more in the New Japan Tag Team Title scene, and they occasionally defend them in AEW. So I wouldn't be that opposed to the Young Bucks winning that match due to that situation. There will be a Lucha Gauntlet with 4 representatives from CMLL and 4 representatives from New Japan, but at this time, they're not labeled. But probably the biggest match to take place this weekend. A match that, when it was set up, people extremely questioned it, but it involves 2 people that I enjoy watching, so I'm not complaining about it. Gabe Kidd versus the returning Kenny Omega, setting the foundation of his 2025, and I'm hoping that this is a great matchup, and I imagine that it will be with Omega being victorious. So like I said, I am going to enjoy Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty, and hopefully it's enough to keep me interested and locked into New Japan this year, but I'm not making any promises. So, a quick edition of Shooting the Breeze. I'm going to try to upload this a bit early, that way the Wrestle Kingdom talk is not completely opposite, because I hate, if I would have, previewed and anticipated something for Wrestle Kingdom, and then by the time it's uploaded, you already know what happens. But I originally planned on uploading this Saturday, but I think I'm going to give y'all a special treat. It's getting uploaded ASAP. So, I do appreciate y'all for watching this. Hopefully that you enjoy Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty and well. And if you care about the NFL, you enjoy the last week of the regular season. So, I do appreciate y'all all for watching this. Hopefully you stay tuned for the rest of 2025. I'm not making any big promises on New Year's resolutions or videos coming out. Just enjoy what actually happens. So, again, I do appreciate y'all for watching this, though. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one, because I'm out. Goodbye.